2022 presidential elections in this country is actually shaping up to be a two-horse race between the Deputy President William Ruto, who is actually the front-runner, and Raila Odinga, who is yet to declare his bid for the presidency. But from all indications, Raila Odinga is likely to be on the ballot in 2022. But Raila Odinga has insisted that he will only declare whether he will be running or not after the Building Bridges Initiative report or referendum. So as at now, Raila Odinga has not declared. But I can predict that the name Raila Odinga will be on the ballot in 2022. And that will not be the first time Raila Odinga will be contesting for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya. He has contested 4 times before. In 2022, if his name will be on the ballot, that will be the 5th time Raila Odinga will be contesting for the presidency, which means Raila Odinga is experienced when it comes to presidential campaigns. But he has never been declared the president of the Republic of Kenya because Raila Odinga is always committing some grave political mistakes. And as we move towards 2022 general election, it is now clear that Raila Odinga has to deal with the 5 major problems which are giving him headache, sleepless nights before 2020 general election. So today I want us to look at these 5 problems which are giving Raila Odinga sleepless nights. But before we get into those details, if you are watching this video for the first time, please take a second or 2 and click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And I want us to go straight to these points. So just click subscribe button, because what we do on this channel is very simple. We analyze politics in a way you cannot find anywhere else. And because politics is what makes the world move, it's important for you to subscribe. Now let us go straight to some of these problems. The first problem is actually campaign management. Raila Odinga has contested for the presidency 5 times. In 2007, Raila Odinga believed, and those who support him believe, that he actually won the presidency. But he was never declared the president of the Republic of Kenya. In fact, there are some people who believe that if Raila Odinga had stuck with the plan of the Deputy President William Ruto by that time, then probably Raila Odinga would have been declared the president of the Republic of Kenya. But Raila Odinga opted for coalition government. I want to take you back a bit so that you can understand the campaign management, how it has been a big problem for Raila Odinga. In 2013, President Uhuru Kenyatta contested for the presidency for the second time. President Uhuru Kenyatta crafted a team of young guys. Johnson Sakaja was the chairman of TNA. Onyangolo was the Secretary General of TNA. Then there was the biggest elephant in the house, party nominations. TNA nominations were actually messed up big time. ODM nominations were messed up big time. But the way Onyangolo and Sakaja managed the TNA nominations, nobody believed that TNA nominations were actually rigged, that they were smooth. In real sense, TNA messed up nominations more than ODM. But because the ODM campaigns were not well organized, they couldn't really communicate well. So there was a major fallout, and that's actually what led to the loss of several seats, because in 2007, ODM had absolute majority. So in 2013, after that general election, and because of the way they mismanaged the fallout within the nominations, ultimately ODM lost several seats. And again, on that campaign management, in ODM there are 2 cartels. There's always the ODM cartel, ODM party cartels, who are based at Orange House, now Chungwa House. And then there are certain cartels based at Capitol Hill. So sometimes nominations cannot go the right way because of those competing interests. Moving forward, I don't know how Raila Odinga is going to manage his campaigns. Because apart from that, there are also Raila Odinga's family members who are always interfering with some of the campaign programs. So, and beyond that, Raila Odinga also has certain individuals who are very influential and powerful, like some governors in the previous elections were very powerful around Raila Odinga. So I don't know how Raila Odinga is going to change. But one of the biggest problems he's facing today is actually campaign management. his campaign management team has always been a very big letdown. Number two, the second problem, which is giving Raila Odinga a headache, is actually the handshake and the building bridges initiative. So many people within the political circles believe that handshake is the best thing which ever happened to Raila Odinga. Because without that handshake, they don't know where Raila Odinga would be today. But also there are those who believe that the handshake between Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta and now the Building Bridges Initiative was the worst political mistake Raila Odinga ever committed. And because of those conflicting interests, how is Raila Odinga going to use the handshake and the Building Bridges Initiative politics to advance his political interest? It's a headache because, number one, the handshake means Uhuru Kenyatta is going to support him. He's banking on that. He's banking on the support of the system. What will happen if Uhuru will not support him? What will happen if the system will tell him, choose the other guy? And probably because of the Building Bridges politics, that's why Raila Odinga is yet to declare his bid for the presidency. And of course, we also know that the Building Bridges initiative today in this country is not one of the most popular things. It's very unpopular. And if it's unpopular and Raila Odinga is championing it, then it means that Raila Odinga is going to carry the burden of that Building Bridges initiative. So that's the second problem Raila Odinga must deal with. Number three is communications and propaganda. Today, you can say with certainty that the Deputy President has taken these particular directions when it comes to his communication strategy. He's actually taking the path Donald Trump is taking. What about Raila Odinga? Raila Odinga has always committed the same problems with his communications, with propaganda. Raila Odinga is not reacting to propaganda in the right way. Again, let's just use the past. In the past, Raila Odinga had to deal with the ICC because ICC is what united Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. Ruto was with Raila Odinga. So when the issues of ICC came up, the system engineered a propaganda which set up Raila Odinga against the Kikuyu community and the Kalenjins. He didn't deal with that propaganda. Previously, there was the issue of Mau evictions. Mau evictions were actually a bait by the former president, Moi Kibaki, to Raila Odinga. Because Raila Odinga enjoyed massive support from Rift Valley. And of course, donors had enough money to conserve Mau forest. And Mau conservation was one of the best projects which Raila Odinga had to handle. But he failed to deal with the propaganda against it. The Kalenjins were convinced that mvua inatoka kwa binguni, sio kwa forest. And people, Mau forest was just degraded like that. So he failed to deal with that. Even the Building Bridges initiative is today very unpopular. Why? Because Raila Odinga's communications and even Raila Odinga's propaganda, ability to fight this propaganda, has not worked for him. So Raila Odinga is making the same mistake. Let me give you a story. In 2013, the Cambridge Analytica, the guys who did a fantastic job for President Uhuru Kenyatta, to an extent that some 10 individuals on this platform, including even on this platform, believe that Raila Odinga is actually a devil, not a human being. That Uhuru Kenyatta was anointed by God. Cambridge Analytica approached Raila Odinga to work with him. Raila Odinga, because he believes in the traditional ways of doing things, that propaganda want that you just sell the policies, Raila Odinga told them no. So Raila Odinga refused. So Cambridge Analytica then went and approached Uhuru Kenyatta. And unknown to people, Cambridge Analytica actually worked for President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2013. And that's why they were able to convince the people, the anger, use the ICC narrative, instill it in the minds of the Kalenjins that the only way to save Ruto was to stop Raila Odinga, to convince the Kikuyus that their biggest problem was Raila Odinga, the same Cambridge Analytica. So up to today, Raila Odinga has not believed in propaganda. So if you hope to succeed in 2022, in my view, Raila Odinga must restructure his communications and propaganda wing. Number 4, in my view, is what I call strategic blunders. Raila Odinga always commit several political blunders along the way. When things are set, then he commits a blunder. In the past, those blunders would actually arise within the ODM ranks, so that nominations are rigged, fallout emerge, things like those. But this time around, Raila Odinga is committing several political blunders. The first one is on the war on corruption. Raila Odinga all along created a name as the defender of the voiceless, the voice of the voiceless. Today in this country, Raila Odinga is being associated with corruption, not because somebody can pinpoint to you that Raila Odinga maybe he, but because when we had the COVID issue, the ODM party called for a press conference and issued a press conference calling for something which Kenyans really didn't expect. Kenyans expected ODM party to issue a statement, strongly worded statement, the way they would do before. Reform credentials for Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga is known as the father of democracy in this country. Today, because Raila Odinga is associated with President Uhuru Kenyatta and Jubilee Party, most people believe that Raila Odinga has lost his reform credentials. Another blunder he keeps on making, which I think he might also make again, is elections monitoring. There's one element of elections monitoring. This element, Raila Odinga has always failed in. What do I mean? IBC today is not constituted well. But is Raila Odinga working towards ensuring that the next CEO of IBC ni mtu wake? Is he working to ensure that the next commissioners, at least 2 of them, will be his people? So those are some of the strategic blunders. In the last election, for example, there were claims that some of his agents were never paid. So these agents went out there very early in the morning. Nobody bothered to pay them. Nobody took food to them. By now, wamechoka. Their TNA counterpart walipewa pesa asubuhi before they left their homes. Asubuhi wamepelekewa chai, saa 7 wamepelekewa lunch. Wewe unaona kama mwenzako anakula ugali. Wewe uko hapo hata una shilingi kwa mfuko. Some of these people ended up being bought. And that's exactly how Raila Odinga and ODM party lost the monitoring of the elections. And the last mistake which Raila Odinga keeps on committing is trusting the systems to work. In this country, systems don't work. Raila Odinga trusted IBC and engineered reforms at IBC so that we didn't now have commissioners, electoral commissions of Kenya. We had an independent electoral and boundaries commission. People were supposed to work independently. Raila Odinga believed that this team was going to deliver. The first shock, these guys were even worse than the Kivitu Commission. The police. Raila Odinga believes on reforms, so he engineered several police reforms in the hope that when elections come, nobody will use the police, so that because the police was now turned into a service, nobody was going to misuse them. When elections came, police were part and parcel of free game. What about judiciary? What about judiciary? Raila Odinga also believed that the judiciary was up to the task. And of course, to some credit to the judiciary, Justice Maraga, Chief Justice Maraga, nullified the elections. But up to how long? When the case went again, what happened? President Uhuru Kenyatta was declared the President of the Republic of Kenya. So if Raila Odinga is keen on becoming the next President of the Republic of Kenya, then a lot of changes must actually happen around him. Raila Odinga must overhaul his campaign so that after campaigns you can point out that this guy was in charge of Raila Odinga's campaign and he delivered. Or even if they fail, but you know he did his best. Apart from Willis, nobody can remember the previous campaign managers for Raila Odinga. Number 2, the handshake and BBI politics. Raila Odinga should start charting his own political path away from BBI and handshake if he hopes to run for the presidency. Otherwise, over-relying on the goodwill of the handshake might be a shock for him. Raila Odinga must invest in communications and propaganda. I know Raila Odinga's age is an old man, so he believes in those traditional communications, the print media, TVs. Today, we have people on TikTok, Instagram. You go to Instagram, you just want to run away when you see what people are watching on Christian Della page. And there are so many thousands are glued to that channel. Every single day, the guy is live. So Raila Odinga must find a way of communicating to that group. What about Twitter? So that Raila Odinga should forget about this idea of, if he's issuing a statement, it has to be law. Because even education in this country has gone down. So people no longer read. The strategic blunders which he's making, he must avoid. And lastly, Raila Odinga should avoid at all cost trusting the system. Systems never work in this country called Kenya. I don't know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. And again, if you're watching the video for the first time, please take a second or two and click the subscribe button. Bye-bye.